Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Todd Chrisley fears for wife Julie Chrisley's health and welfare while she remains in prison. Todd Chrisley is worried about wife Julie Chrisley's well-being as she remains in prison. The couple's attorney, Jay Sargent, shared in a statement to the New York Post that Todd, 55, is extremely disappointed and dissatisfied after a judge ruled that Julie, 51, will continue to serve her original 84-month sentence. Todd is also concerned about Julie's health and welfare, especially after she suffered from a serious health problem. Details about Julie's condition were not disclosed by Todd nor their attorney. However, Todd and Julie's daughter Savannah Chrisley revealed on a March episode of her Unlocked podcast that her mom learned she could possibly have a tumor. During the episode, Savannah, 27, read letters aloud from Julie. "I walked in thinking it was gynecology. I sat down with the doctor and she proceeds to tell me that my HCG level was high, 10.2. This is a pregnancy hormone. It should not be that high," Julie wrote to Savannah. "If it were a little higher, I would test positive on a pregnancy test. Since that's not a possibility, it could be a sign of a tumor." The message continued, "I literally fell apart. How can this be happening? I'm going to have blood work redone and get a scan. I've not told anyone and I'm not going to until I know what's going on. I'm so scared. I just want my husband. I don't know if I can do this without him." Savannah has not given an update on Julie's health status since. Julie also previously battled breast cancer. In 2012, she had a double mastectomy and followed by a hysterectomy the next year before going into remission. Late last month, Julie appeared in court for her resentencing hearing. Us Weekly confirmed that the judge at the United States District Court for the Northern District of Georgia ruled that Julie's 84-month sentence was sufficient. Savannah and her brother Chase Chrisley were present in the courtroom. Earlier this year, the case was sent back to the lower court after the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that there was no evidence Julie was involved in the entire bank fraud scheme dating back to 2006. Todd and Julie were indicted on charges of tax evasion, bank and wire fraud, and conspiracy in 2019. Despite maintaining their innocence, the Chrisley Knows Best stars were found guilty in June 2022. Julie received 7 years behind bars, which was later reduced by 14 months. Todd, for his part, was initially sentenced to 12 years in prison, but was later shortened to 10 years. In January 2023, Julie and Todd began serving their time at Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky, and Federal Prison Camp Pensacola in Florida, respectively. The morning sun poured through the blinds of Todd Chrisley's modest halfway house room, but the warmth of the light did nothing to soothe the cold worry growing in his chest. He sat quietly, phone in hand, scrolling through his morning emails and updates from his attorney, hoping for some sign, any sign, that Julie was okay. But there was nothing. Just a brief, emotionless update from her prison's administration. Inmate Julie Chrisley remains in medical monitoring. No visitation permitted at this time. Todd's hand trembled as he set the phone down on the table beside his coffee. The steam curled in the air, but he didn't take a sip. His thoughts were consumed. His wife, the woman who had stood beside him for decades through thick and thin, was suffering behind prison walls, and there was absolutely nothing he could do about it. It had been more than a year since Todd and Julie Chrisley, once reality television royalty on Chrisley Knows Best, were sentenced to federal prison for bank fraud and tax evasion. The scandal had rocked the family, but it was the separation that broke them piece by piece. Now, months into their sentences, Julie's health had taken a sharp turn for the worse. "She's not the same Julie anymore," a close family insider revealed. "She's lost weight, her hair is thinning, and emotionally, she's withdrawn. Her spirit is fading." Always a bright presence on their show, the calm to Todd's chaos, the grounding force in their Southern family, was now reportedly a shadow of herself. Despite the limited communication Todd had with her through tightly monitored calls and sporadic letters, he knew something wasn't right. "She doesn't sound like my wife anymore," Todd confided to his eldest daughter, Savannah, during a recent phone call. "There's something in her voice, like she's already given up." Savannah, who had taken guardianship of her younger brother Grayson and niece Chloe during her parents' incarceration, had tried to remain a beacon of strength, but even she was starting to crack under the emotional weight. "Dad is out, but he's not really free," Savannah shared on her podcast Unlocked. "He's terrified for Mom. And honestly, so am I. She's not getting the medical care she needs." Her request to see an outside specialist was denied again. Julie had reportedly been suffering from a series of unexplained health issues: persistent fatigue, stomach problems, dizziness, and even blackouts. The prison's medical team attributed it to stress-related symptoms, but the family wasn't buying it. "She had none of these issues before," Savannah insisted. "Something's wrong, and we're being shut out." Back at the halfway house, Todd found himself unable to concentrate on anything: his Bible studies, his calls with his legal team, even his attempts to prepare for the family's podcast relaunch. He sat on the edge of his bed, eyes fixed on a framed picture of Julie that he kept beside his lamp. It had been taken just a month before their sentencing. She was wearing a sky blue dress and smiling at him like she always did, full of love and hope. "How did we get here?" he whispered, brushing his finger across the glass. His own time in prison had been far from easy. Though he was now in transitional release, he still bore the scars, emotionally and spiritually. But through it all, he kept his faith and his belief that he and Julie would survive it together. That belief was now faltering. "She was my rock," Todd told his prison chaplain during one of their final counseling sessions. "And now she's in a place that's breaking her." Julie's prison, located in Lexington, Kentucky, was described as low security, but Todd and the family had long claimed that it was anything but humane. Letters from fellow inmates had begun to trickle out, describing moldy showers, food with bugs in it, and insufficient medical care. "She's eating food that's making her sick," Todd said in a tearful phone call to his legal advisor. "I ate better than royalty compared to her situation. And she's the one who needs the care. She's the one who matters." His voice cracked. "I can't protect her." The worst part for Todd was the powerlessness. The man who had once controlled every aspect of his family's life, from the TV cameras to the dinner table, now couldn't even get a straight answer about his wife's health. He had filed formal complaints, called the prison board, and even written directly to the warden. Every response came back cold and dismissive. "She is receiving appropriate care in accordance with federal guidelines," they wrote. But that wasn't good enough. Not for Todd, not for Savannah, not for Julie, who spent her days trying to avoid collapsing from exhaustion or being humiliated by guards who allegedly mocked her celebrity status. The public hadn't forgotten the Chrisleys either. Though many had condemned their crimes, others had come to sympathize with Julie in particular. "She was always the heart of that family," one longtime fan commented online. "Seeing her suffer like this is just heartbreaking." A hashtag Free Julie Chrisley hashtag began to trend on social media, fueled by Savannah's advocacy and Todd's increasingly vocal concern. "We're not asking for special treatment," Savannah stated in a recent Instagram story. "We're asking for human decency, for fairness, for proper health care. My mom deserves that." As Todd sat silently in his room, the phone rang. It was a short 10-minute call from Julie. He answered instantly. "Hi, sweetheart," her weak voice came through. "Jules, baby," he whispered, instantly choking up. "I've been trying everything. I'm going to fix this, I promise. You're not alone." She didn't say much. Her voice trembled. "I'm just so tired, Todd, so tired." He blinked back tears. "Then let me carry this for you. I'll get the lawyers. I'll go public again, whatever it takes. You just hang on, okay? Just hang on a little longer." There was silence on the line before she whispered, "I'm trying, Todd. For you. For the kids. The line clicked. The call had ended. Todd sat there, unable to breathe, staring at the phone in his hand. His wife was fading.